Now we place fuselage corner support strips from what he calls 9mm square balsa strips, which is in fact 3/8 of an inch or 9.6 millimeters. This has to go into the corners of the fuselage from rib F4 back to rib F10. The occasional saw cut must be made And so the time has come to close the back. I have already removed the pins that were holding the balsa strips, and not strictly necessary, since the sides and the top and bottom are going to open up when I remove the lightening panels, but I have. We begin by putting in F23, and it matters which way it orients, because it sort of gets narrower to the back, and then F22 closes the fuse and makes it completely rigid, and I hope completely correct. No bowing. Here I've sanded F12 until it fit down into here, and now I have to do the same to F11 until it fits in there. Now I just have to glue this in, and I can remove this material here after this has gone hard and before I put the tail in. Now the time has come to unwrap. I'm going to remove all the tapes and make the lighting holes. I know you don't want to sit there watching me remove all this tape, so let's just use magic and make it go away. Ah, there it is. Everything gone away. That's the way to do it, yeah. Now we're going to remove all these covers, reveal the lightning holes, and of course we're going to use the trusty hacksaw blade. That's the first one. Now I'm going to use a little sandpaper to even out these edges. Maybe it's not necessary as such, but you might see it through the covering later on. There we have the fuse with all the lightning holes, and here's all the stuff that came from them. And I was wondering, how much does it weigh? So I got the old scales and put it on there, and it's 182 grams. The front of the fuse is made of this. It's 13mm balsa, which glues down here, and then we have two pieces together as a hatch here, so that you have access to the tank in here. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I have a bandsaw and saw out 3 pieces that will fit on here. Now I'm going to glue these pieces together using a medium thick gap filling CA glue, some kicker and a packing tape. It's best to use packing tape because it really doesn't stick to the CA glue. And then I'm going to sand this. These two pieces will now have to be angled together using a balsa plane. This is okay. Maybe heat it a little bit with sandpaper, but essentially that's it. I'm going to glue this front part down using epoxy. Epoxy is always used wherever the motor is, because you could get all kinds of oil and stuff from the motor, and it won't dissolve the epoxy. I'm going to use a lot of glue, and then I'm going to weigh it down using some steel. I've already formed the hatch, and I'm going to use the hatch to place this front piece. Now, that's it for the fuselage. There are two things that I haven't done, which I mentioned in the instructions. One is how to fix down this hatch. I have to put some kind of tongue down here that will engage underneath this this front, and on the drawings Tony Nyhouse shows a rubber band holding down the hatch. I'm not really into rubber bands. I'm going to try these. These are magnets, and I've had good results using those. 4 pairs of magnets to hold this down will be very sufficient. The other thing that I haven't done is the tail wheel. I'm not absolutely convinced that what Tony Nyhouse shows on the plans is the best thing to do. So I'm going to skip that for a while and come to it later. Now, the last thing that Tony says in the instructions is now the whole fuselage can now be sanded and finished, ready for covering. And I'm absolutely convinced that you do not want to watch me sanding this enormous fuselage. So the only thing I want to tell you about in that case is this. Wherever I have to use a filler, this is the one I use. It's called Red Devil one-time spackling. It's very, very light and sands beautifully. So the next thing to do, having finished the fuse, is to go into the wings.